Alright, Trial Mob, so I got a few news updates today, mostly from Joytoy, a little something from DC, and something new from Marauders that we haven't seen before. Now on top of that, I will be doing a little bit of shout out to another fellow YouTuber, and on top of that, we're even going to be following up with another PGV update, which came from the same YouTuber that I just mentioned. So let's go ahead and break it down, and let's see what we got for today. Alright, Trial Mob, so I got to start off with actually a little bit of an update for Planet Green Valley. Now, if you guys do remember in the last episode, I did say that these were basic figures running about $50 to $60 and that they came with nothing but what you see here. And while technically that is correct, it turns out, thanks to some of the people that got into my comment section, especially Ryan, big shout out to him for pointing this out. If you actually look at that bottom left figure, and if you look to the left of it, you can actually tell that there is a little baggie in it. I don't know why it didn't hit me. I just thought it was something in the background, but it turns out that that little baggie does come with a full assault rifle, I think some scarves, a couple of other pieces, potentially interchangeable hands. I don't quite remember what exactly comes with it, but apparently no, these aren't just basic figures. They do come with things that do make them more worth the price, at least more well worth it to me. Now, I don't have any PGV stuff, so I can't tell you, I don't have a review to show you, but you guys want to know who does? EM Hobby TV. So big shout out to Emmanuel. He saw me asking questions on Facebook about this and immediately jumped on to let me know that yes, they do come with other pieces, but on top of that, he actually has a review. So I am going to link that in the description below, but just in case if I forget to and you guys want to check out his stuff, here is his actual name on YouTube, EM Hobby TV. So check him out. He has a bunch of videos already on acid rain and other 1/18th scale stuff. But I really think that if you guys want to know a little bit more about the basic figure and know whether or not it's something you're going to want to spend money on, check his account out and let him know I sent you because I want to see who does. All right, but like I said, just a quick update I wanted to give you guys. PGV stuff, the basic figures do come in fact with weapons and other things that go onto the figure. So actually for me, with that said, it's well worth the price point of about $50 to $60, especially considering how hard they are to get. Now segueing over to Joytoy. Now you guys have seen this one before, but when I showed you guys this before, it was just the prototype photo, so there was no color, but here we have it in its full glory. I gotta admit, this black and red color looks amazing. Now this is a 1/24th scale figure, so it is going to be smaller than the 1/18 stuff we're normally used to getting. So while this does look like it's full sized, it's smaller, and then the actual figure itself is also smaller. Now, just like all the rest of the mechs that we do get with them, what you'll see here is that it does open up so that you can have the pilot in there. It has a cockpit is what it has. So that's really tight. The figure does look nice and cozy in there. And I think Damon mentioned this, that it's not actually big enough for you to put a 1/18th figure in there. So this is kind of a strict 1/24 scale cockpit. You're not going to be able to get any leeway with this one. Now, as you can see here, we do have a few more promotional images, and again, this thing just looks great. I really wish it was actually in 1/18 scale because I don't collect the 1/24 scale, at least not yet. So it would have been really nice to have seen this in that larger scale. But also, I know I've bitched about the fact that the 1/18 stuff is too big. So again, this might be more my size, more for what I'm into. But again, really nice looking poses. Now, it seems that they're taking a page right out of Robotech. This is an actually transforming robot. Now, it had been brought to my attention before that that was the case, but here, as you can tell, we're definitely seeing some really cool stuff here. So the top half of the figure, I guess, comes directly off of it, and then when you have this left, you get this sort of bipedal kind of fortress looking thing that I would imagine doesn't have a cockpit, so this would be fighting on its own, right? But again, this is something that's really dope, and I actually have a lot more faith in this kind of transformable figures than what we got with the Hurricane bikes, which me and Skelly both agreed were a pain. Now, this is the top section of that same robot, but now in its flying mode, obviously. So it basically turns to a little fighter jet, and that is where the cockpit is. So this would probably detach, and then you have this fighter jet that can actually have a figure put into it. And I hope it comes with this stand because it does look pretty badass. So For me, this is definitely a really cool piece, man. If you are into Joytoy stuff, you're into the mech stuff, and you've already started purchasing the 124 scale stuff, and you don't have any kind of limitations, this is absolutely badass. You basically have 3 figures for the price of basically 1, right? So this mech right here, I think is going to be something that we're probably going to see more often from Joytoy, where we get these transformable figures that give you multiple configurations, and hopefully are easy to transform and then can actually have a stable transformable position. And so this is what I mean by having 3 figures all at once. So we get the bipedal one on the left, the human character on the bottom, and then of course the jet fighter up top, which looks very reminiscent of the transport ships from Star Wars. You guys know what I'm talking about. So I think that this is really a dope piece. At the time of this recording, this is actually the only photo I have for the actual pilot. So I will try to get better photos in later updates, but in the meantime, this is the best one I have. As you can tell, this is something different from what we've actually seen in the 118 scale, but still pretty badass. I like the armor, I like the overall color. That gun looks really dope, and that head sculpt is pretty badass. As for the helmet itself, it looks a little plain. I don't know if he's just holding it weirdly, but it looks to be very just kind of pale and white, so I don't know how I feel about that. But the actual figure itself, I think, is a really solid piece. Now, switching over to the Marauders, we do have one new figure that I've seen them bring up from the Vietnam series that they have, and it's called the Marauder Gunrunners Skeletron Red Shadows Jungle Wolf Trooper. That's a mouthful. Now, what I am going to say about this is that I'm a little confused. I thought that a lot of the stuff that we were getting from Marauders was based in real life. Now, unless there was just some weird Vietnam thing that I didn't know about, this is very fantasious. Even the gun, obviously, is not even, you know... Those aren't real guns there, so I'm a little confused by what's happening with this one. Again, I thought the Vietnam stuff was supposed to be very real life, very accurate to real life. So seeing this kind of throws me for a loop, but I'm not going to stop and say that this is a bad figure. I think this actually looks pretty badass overall. The guns look really cool, all the accessories look really badass. This is actually a really cool looking figure. It definitely reminds me of G.I. Joe a lot. It reminds me more of G.I. Joe really now that they're coming out with this kind of stuff. Is this a must-buy for me? I don't know. I kind of like the fact that the Vietnam stuff felt pretty realistic, and to see this kind of throws me for a loop. But if I can get past that, this is actually a really badass little figure that they have going on here. This definitely has the Cobra Trooper vibe to it, and you know that those sold out like crazy, so I wouldn't be surprised if these end up selling out like crazy. And I do believe this is more of a crowdfunder type thing, right? So I'm not 100% sure where you'll be able to get this, but when I find out more, I will let you guys know. Alright, and now to top off the last round of updates, this is going to be more 1/12 scale. From McFarlane, we are getting the Martian Man Hunter himself. Now, this is his more modern look. I don't believe it's the new 52 look. I don't quite remember what look we got this one from, but damn, do I love the Martian Man Hunter. And while I'm not a big fan of McFarlane toys, I've been very vocal about that. This does look pretty fucking badass, I'm not gonna lie. So I might have to pick this one up. Maybe it's something you guys will want to pick up. I do hope to do the whole Justice League team. And I do think that this is a sweet piece, especially considering that the articulation most likely will be pretty damn good for what you're getting. So that basically ends all the updates. Please let me know what you guys are looking forward most to see, and what would you guys like to see me cover in future updates moving forward. But until then, I will see you guys on the next one.